This could possibly be the worst news for 2023. Shortages are coming and the rich are leaving the country. Now, if we talked about China's leadership, what name appears in your head? Now, chances that Xi Jinping and no one else popped in there is pretty high because it's no secret that this country is under a dictatorship and it's not run on a democracy. Although this is also leading the country towards a very unfavorable economic situation, one that could possibly ripple all across the world. But how can something that far away affect the United States, right? Now, in terms of investments and the supply chain, there is a whole heck of a lot that could go wrong in such a short amount of time. Welcome to today's video, guys, and for your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the economy, the stock market, global happenings, the housing market, making money online, creating side hustles, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to thank you guys so much for always dropping a like for the videos. I appreciate that. It helps get this information out to families that need to hear it. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is in the description down below of this video. All right, guys. So this year's cash flow for many companies, many families, big or small, has been poor at best. And while we're not in any place to tell these giants how to invest their money, there is a big risk that looms if they've set their eyes on China. Now, their country's economic boom started with real estate and housing as they saw just how easily this boosted their GDP. Although that's already in danger today. Now, if we talked about the fate of their economy, indicators are pointing down and the bottom's a long way away from here. All right, so let's talk about the National Congress that was done this year. This is the closest thing to an election in the country where new officials can be moved into office, promoted to a different or a higher position, or just completely kicked out. All positions are decided by the state. The focus of this year's National Congress was if Xi Jinping was going to be granted another term as president of China. Now, when it comes to presidential terms in China, presidents were only allowed 2 consecutive terms or 10 years. Hu Jintao, the former president, was their leader from 2002 to 2012. Xi Jinping took over, and if you do the math, 2022 should have been his final year as president. But due to Xi Jinping's action to remove this law, he's now poised to rule the country indefinitely. Now, if you think about it, Xi can be seen as the emperor of the country rather than a president who's just serving a term. The politics of the event are decided months in advance, meaning that the people there, they're already aware of what's going to happen beforehand. Xi would resume his reign and continue on with his 3rd term, receiving unanimous voting from everyone there. But here's where things become terrifying. Jintao was seated next to Xi when one of Xi's bodyguards walked towards Jintao. He motioned for Jintao to stand up and even seemed to be forcing him to get up. A second bodyguard comes to remove Hu while Xi seems to just look on. Jintao motions back to Xi and says something, most probably to figure out what the heck is going on. But Xi just nods and doesn't look the former leader in the eyes as he's escorted away. To this day, there's been no other explanation for this other than the one that says Jintao wasn't feeling well. Hu has now finally made a reappearance during a memorial that honored their late leader, Jiang Zemin. Even though Jintao is 79 years old and has made no attempt to show any inkling of getting back into politics, it seems as if its questionable exit from Congress months ago was more of a power play from Xi, just to show every official there that he is willing to do anything to keep power. And if the former leader can be humiliated in such a public setting, then there's no telling what he can do to other officials. It also says that Xi is bent on keeping his power, and he will do anything to keep it, even at the expense of their own economy. This has fueled speculations and have even convinced billionaires in the country to leave China, taking with them billions of dollars of wealth. Stocks crashed across China as this was a complete show of force from Xi. It showed that no one can stand in his way and that he would probably do the same for markets, for entrepreneurs, for businesses, and even for investors. Now, the problem is it creates a cloud of uncertainty. How can we expect that businesses and CEOs are granted the freedom to run companies as they see fit? There is no assurance of this. Opportunities to make money in the country may also take a huge hit as big tech investors are now rethinking their position. Apple, yes, even though the Apple iPhone 14 is coming out, Apple is one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and they're accelerating their plan to shift production away from China. In fact, Apple has already been eyeing India and Vietnam as one of their replacement countries. Now, this comes from the risk that lockdowns in the country has posed to Apple's manufacturing of iPhones and other Apple products. And with 300,000 workers hindered from assembling iPhones, especially with all the protests that have been happening in the country, we should expect Apple to completely leave the country of China in the possible future. Now, even though the lockdowns have eased with Xi's leadership, there is no telling how they're going to react if another surge of cases come. And this is what a lot of investors are scared of. There's no predictability of what could happen. Xi Jinping could have some gas and then all of a sudden he's changing policies. And Apple isn't alone, as other investors, Tesla, they have already made plans to cut output from their Shanghai plant by 20%. The trust that was once given to their government is long gone. And this may lead to our country, among countless others in the world, to diversify the supply chain. And it's already begun, as China's manufacturing orders from the United States is already down by 40%. Quote, Worldwide Logistics tells us that this is expecting Chinese factories to shut down 2 weeks earlier than usual for the Chinese Lunar New Year. Chinese New Year's Eve falls on January 21st next year. The 7 days after the holiday are considered a national holiday, end quote. Now, this could also lead to shortages on goods. It would be a very appropriate time to check what you're short on right now and prepare to wait until after January for stocks and supplies to go back to normal. It's also very evident that with this, the United States West Coast ports are now going to be hit very hard. Quote, United States logistic managers are bracing for delays in the delivery of goods from China in early January as a result of canceled sailings and container ships and rollovers of exports by ocean carriers, end quote. Now, while it would be easy to say that the production and manufacturing be simply moved to the United States, the cost and the planning alone would make companies reevaluate everything, as it may not be worth it for them to do this right now, especially with the economy in the current condition that it's in right now. But how about you guys? How are you and your family preparing for what might be another round of shortages in the country? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, if you'd like to learn what me and my family are doing to generate additional streams of income from devices as simple as our cell phones, make sure to drop me a comment down below. Let me know if you would like to learn how to make additional streams of income through side hustles and other means in the comment section down below. But before I go, guys, make sure to drop a like for the video. I really appreciate that. Also, if you're new to the channel and you want to keep up to date with everything that matters to you regarding our economy and your bank accounts, make sure to subscribe, because if you want the truth, y'all know where to find it. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are all awesome. This is Ron. I wish you all great health and better days to come. I'll see you in the next one.